I set off from the Drum Hotel this morning, and I'm just coming into Inverness now, and Inverness is where the NC500 officially starts. My plan was to get some fuel station here, so that I'm sure there's plenty of fuel on the route, but my sort of rule of thumb is really if I get down to a third of a tank and I get the opportunity to fill up, I'll do that. So that's the bike fueled up and ready to go. So I've only got a paper map of the North Coast 500. I haven't got any digital version of it. So I basically just had a look at the route this morning and put John O'Groats in as a destination, which is probably a half-day ride. I think it's about a 3-hour ride from here. I'll probably go further than that, but at least that gets me onto the route and up to maybe about 1 o'clock. Then I might decide how much further to go. I might even try and book accommodation at that point. I was ready to pull over just for a little rest and to stick my earplugs in. It's really, really windy now, and I just saw a sign to this little village harbour, so I thought I'd just take a ride down here, have 5 minutes, put my earplugs in. Can't remember what the village is called, but it's a nice little harbour. This is as far as I can go on the bike, I think. Pretty cool. Yeah, pretty cool little harbour is this. Yeah. It's really, really windy. Thought I might just park the bike out of the way, just out of the wind, and just have 5 minutes. Yeah, this is really nice. Yeah, I don't suppose they encourage you to walk on these harbour walls because I guess they can get pretty slippy. Quite a nice view from here. That little village was called Latheronwheel. Lovely little place for a quick stop, just for a stretch. I'm going to continue on now to John O'Groats. That's the plan. That's about 50 minutes away. So just coming into John O'Groats. Obviously I'm going to have to try and get the obligatory picture with the signpost, I reckon. Oh yeah, I can see the sign now. Don't think you can park there though. Quite cool. Yeah, that's the sign. I'll have to get that photograph though. I've just had a half in the last pub and tried to book my accommodation while I was in there. I was hoping to get to Durness, which would be 2.5 hours from here, but there's absolutely no accommodation in the area. I've been on hotels.com and booking.com, can't find anything. So I've been on Airbnb, and I've found something, but it's actually only half an hour from here, which means it's at a place called Thurnshoe or something, which means today is a fairly short day riding wise, but just can't seem to find any accommodation that's not stupid money. There was a hotel room at 250 quid, but I'm not paying that. So I'm actually stopping in a converted old ambulance, quite a cool thing. Cost me about £40. It said 25, but there's a cleaning fee and a booking fee at 40 quid. As long as it's a bed with a roof over my head for the night, that's alright. So I'm going to see what that's like. Might leave me with a longer day to do tomorrow though. This is an absolutely beautiful bay at Castletown. There's nobody on the beach at all. There's just a couple of camper vans parked up, and that's it. Absolutely beautiful. Nobody here at all. So this is my accommodation for tonight. This truck here, a Dodge Power Wagon. So that's the actual accommodation, and this is the little setup of, well, I think that's a toilet block. And then these are obviously other B&B units that the kid runs. So it's got power. It's behind a school, up a dirt track, but we'll see what it's like. Sea Reg, if that's anything to go by, about 1966. So this is the setup, no cab as such. There's just a door through into the back here, and inside it's pretty much just a bed. Although there is just about room to take your clothes and stuff off there. There's a telly, there is Wi-Fi, and there's some sockets with charging points. So I guess that's a light switch. Yeah, so I guess really that's kind of all you need. And it's got a little bit of a garden area here. I guess that door opens. So this says communal area, and in here there's a washing machine that somebody's using, and a sink. Wow, that's cool. Pool table. Cinema room, front of a VW. That's pretty cool. So really your room is just your bedroom, isn't it? Shower. Toilet. A couple of fridges, which is quite handy since I've just bought some beer. That's hang on that. Yeah, so if you come out the other door of the van, this is the little garden bit that comes with it, and my bike's just across there, so that's quite handy really. Can sit outside and have a beer. It's probably a bit early to sit outside the truck having a beer, but I'm going to do exactly that. Why not? Bit windy, but it's okay. So I slept pretty well in the Dodge Power Wagon. Pretty good night's sleep. So it's a question of loading up the bike and getting back on the road this morning. There's no breakfast here, but at least I could get a shower, get my gear packed up, no problem. And the weather's pretty good again. I think it's worked in my favour again. It's dried out and it's a good forecast for today. Well, I managed to make a bit of a bell end out of myself because I lost the key to the truck. I left it in my fleece pocket and then packed my luggage away, came to set off, came to lock the truck up, and I thought, can't find the key, so I've had to take the luggage off the bike, route through it, find the police and dig it out. Anyway, there we go. Well, I've put Ullapool in as my next destination. I'm actually stopping about 30 miles inland from Ullapool, but I want to do the North Coast route. Unfortunately, my beeline is trying to take me inland halfway there, which that describes as the fun route. Whether that's better than the North Coast, I don't know. It might just be that it's not suitable for motorhomes and stuff. But there seems to be plenty of signs for the North Coast 500, so I'm just going to set off. I tried to put some waypoints in, but they were coming in after the destination and I couldn't be asked to mess about with it. Couldn't remember how to do it. And it's a nice morning, so I want to get on the road, get some miles done. So I'll just head for Ullapool, follow the North Coast 500 signs, and I'll reroute a bit later on. So I've just stopped for breakfast at a cafe. Just got sidetracked talking to a guy who was doing some cycle touring. It was nice to just pass some time. I'm not in any rush. So I'll just listen to his stories about his travels. It was quite interesting. Back on the road now, and it's a beautiful day. I had to take a layer off, but I am conscious that it's going to get worse. It is actually forecast thunderstorms about 2 o'clock, so I think it might be an idea to try and get some miles under the belt before that happens. Is a nice view. This looks pretty nice. It's just a couple of miles outside Durness. There's a zip wire there from that side of the little bay going all the way across.
Alright, you can go ahead and lift your legs up and I'll just take you.
I'm going to hold that down here, and is that okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
Lift your legs up.
Right. I'm not really very good with height. I'm really not very good with height. Is there? Cheers, mate.
And start with your feet up in the air.
Yeah, can be backwards there.
Okay, your. And let's get your standing on this. Yeah, there you go. Stand up, be steady.
Thank you.
And take a step off.
Brilliant, mate, thank you. So that's the bay that I've just zip-lined over. I'm not very good with heights, but I just saw the sign and I thought, you know, what the hell, just give it a go. But it was pretty smooth, to be fair. The only reason I was a bit worried, it said weight limit 110 kilos. Well, I'm like 107, but I've got the bike gear on. I thought, I'm over the limit. Anyway, I took my jacket off and he said, you'll be alright. So anyway, I made it. They gave me a crash helmet. I don't think that would do much good, like, if you did fall off. Don't know if you can see this person going over now. When I came in to land at the other end, I was going backwards as well, but she was, so I'm not the only one. I'm just coming into Durness now, and I'm hoping there's a petrol station here because I'm low on fuel. There is a petrol station known as the Thank Fuck petrol station, so I wonder if this is it, because my bike's not too bad on fuel, although I've not been riding economically. There's bikes that do shorter range than mine, and I'm running low. Well, that's just a little 2-pump automated petrol station, machine only, but at least it's got me filled up. I'm pretty confident I would have been able to make it to Ullapool on the fuel that I've got, but better to have a full tank, I reckon. Decent place to meet him. Big passing place. Loch Cairn Barn. This is where the submariners trained on the midget submarines in September 1943 in preparation for the sinking of the German battleship, the Tirpitz. A monument here to the submariners, and tells you about their bit about their training and about that operation. I just had a fairly close shave with the vehicle coming the other way. I was getting a bit giddy, to be honest. Going too fast for these really narrow roads. Just not much room for getting out of the way. I had to take a slight off-road excursion, but it was just gravelly at the edge. It wasn't a big drop, fortunately, so I could just jump off the road and squeeze through. It started raining now. It was always on the cards that it was going to rain today, but it looks fairly bright in the distance, and I don't know if it's worth stopping to put waterproofs on. I decided to stop and put my waterproofs on, if only because my waterproof top is day glow yellow, so it's more visible because it's gone dark, or darker. And I've just come across all these bikers here all putting the waterproofs on, so it looks like the consensus is it's going to keep raining. So these are not proper biking waterproofs, these are walking trousers. Supposed to be a lot better in terms of waterproofness, but maybe not that robust. Being an old man, I've had to find a bench to sit down at to put my trousers on. That's sad, isn't it? I wasn't convinced they'd actually fit over my adventure boots. Don't normally wear them on the road bike, but they do. So let's see how waterproof they are. It's absolutely pissing it down now, and I've had to pull over. But you can't see, my visor's all steamed up. Right, let's try and press on. It was the right decision to put the waterproof on anyway. It was actually forecast a thunderstorm, so it was forecast was pretty heavy. I think it's just a question of whether it hit or not. So if I haven't just literally been into it by doing that, it would have stayed on the main road for the still looks nice that even in the rain. Ardevreck Castle, this. That's pretty impressive. I passed a sign saying Land Rover Experience. And I was thinking, what they're going to do, shake you until you've got a splitting headache, go round to your house and pour oil all over your drive, rob you of all your money and then dump your ass in the middle of nowhere. That'll be a Land Rover Experience. I hope I'm not too far away now because my fuel warning light has come on. I'm filling this up twice a day. I'm down to 2 bars now. That's pretty empty for this, and I suspect I'm not staying in Lag because I passed a turning for it some time ago. I guess Lag's the nearest place, but I hope it's not the nearest petrol station because my plan was to get fuel on the way to the accommodation. I'm starting to wonder now if that accommodation's out of town. I'm not going to pass a fuel station. Probably couldn't have got any fuel anywhere since I left Liverpool, in fact. Definitely haven't passed one. I think this is my accommodation for the night. Yeah. On the picture it showed gates on there. This is some fancy private Carnegie estate or something is this. But it is a budget accommodation. It says I can't go up there though, doesn't it? Which is where my sat-nav wants to take me. Kind of a long way round. There we go. Yeah. Now look, gravel's a bit deep. This is the entrance to my accommodation place. It's quite grand really. It's one of these places that's past its best, but would have been quite an impressive place in its day. This is the room for tonight. It's only a little room, but it was 40 quid was this, and it's in a grand old lodge house on a private estate.